Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessa and today's video is an exciting one. Unboxing and book haul. The main attraction of today is my Fairyloot parcel. This is my first time getting both the YA and adult books, so I'm very excited to see what these books look like and to get two of them for once as well. The first one, the theme for this month is prophecies. Here's the card, and on the back it says the artist. The book, it is The Night and Its Moth by Rachel Gillig, who is an author that Fairyloot has done editions for before. She wrote the One Dark Window duology, which was quite popular. I have both of them in the Fairyloot edition, but I have not actually read them. But I am really excited to read that series and also to start this one as well. Here is our redesigned cover, and then our sprayed edges are like this stained glass design, also in the same sort of pastel color palette, and then our back cover continues the front illustration as well. There's also some really pretty end paper artwork. I'm guessing this is our male main character because this is another romantasy. This is what the naked dust jacket looks like, or naked hardback, and then this is based on the original cover art as well, so that's nice to have both options. I quite like this design, though I am a bit confused about why the main character looks so different in this cover and the illustrated end papers in comparison to the like standard trade cover. Like, you can kind of see that she has like long brown hair, and then in the other one she has short blonde hair, so I'm a bit confused on what she's actually supposed to look like, but hopefully the book actually explains that so that we're actually able to picture her as she is supposed to look. I'm going to read off the synopsis. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdoms of Troms, windswept moors, to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answer she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. I think that seems really interesting. I really like the themes around like exploring different aspects of divinity and also magic systems that are based around dreams, so this one is really intriguing, and because I've heard so many good things about her other series as well, that also makes me even more interested, plus the fact that this is a very hyped romantasy as well makes me really interested in seeing how the relationship is going to develop between these two characters, because it is setting up this sort of tension between them that I think will be really interesting to see develop. Onto our YA books, like in the package. This is the art, and then on the back it says what the book is and some details about the artist. And here is our book. This is The Floating World by Axie. I have read a book by Axie before. It's called The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, and it was inspired by Korean folklore, and I believe this one is as well. I've actually been really anticipating this one, and the standard US cover for this one is also super pretty, but I really like this pastel redesign, and I love the sort of traditional Korean dress that both of our main characters are wearing. I think that's really pretty. And we also have these pretty bird sprayed edges that I feel like really fit the whole whimsical sort of cloud sort of vibe that we're getting. And then the back sort of continues the artwork and then has a quote that says, "Lower your gaze, the light is not for you," which is pretty ominous for such a beautiful looking book. Here is the end paper illustrations. These are really, really pretty. And then our second one featuring our two characters together. I really love the like mix between the gold foil and the pastels as well. I think that's a really unique and really pretty look. And then this is the naked hardback. It still keeps that pastel color palette, but it's more of a cool tone with purples and pinks as opposed to the pinks and yellows. We have an Under the Dust Jacket, which this is the standard UK cover in a redesigned color palette. I believe the original is blue and this one is more yellow, which is consistent with the redesigned cover and the edges. I'm going to read you the synopsis of this one as well. Ex-soldier Sun Ho lives in the underworld, a land of perpetual darkness. Possessing just his name and sword, he comes across the score of a lifetime, a chest of coins for hunting down the girl who wields silver light. Ren is a spirited acrobat, traveling with her family, but everything changes when they are attacked by a demon. Desperate, Ren releases a blast of silver light and kills the monster, but cannot save her beloved uncle from grievous injury. Determined to save him from succumbing to the poisoned wound, Ren sets off for the mountains where the creature came from, which happens to be where Ren herself fled from 10 years ago. Her path collides with Sun Ho's, but he doesn't realize who she is. As the two grow closer, it becomes clear their past and destinies are more intertwined than they could possibly have imagined. That also seems really interesting. It seems like we're getting more of a fated lovers dynamic and maybe more of a friends to lovers. Both of these seem to be shaping up to be something that really intrigues me. I like romance in my fantasy books, so they also look really nice together, I think. Like, they're both in these pastel sort of color palettes. Both of these are ones that I was excited for as well and would have purchased irregardless. So I'm really happy to have gotten these two, and they're really stunning, and I hope you like them as well. I also have a couple of other books that are some new releases and also some thrifted books that I would like to share as well. I'm not going to go as in-depth into the synopsis as I did with those other two, just because they're not special editions, and some of them are older books as well, so I don't know how much interest there is for a lot of people. But the one new one that I have is The God and the Gwisin, which is the sequel to a book called The God and the Gumiho, which is similar actually to The Floating World, inspired by Korean folktale and mythology. I really enjoyed that first one, and so I'm really anticipating this one and hope to pick it up soon. The first one that I have here is called Deep Blue. I've heard of this series before, and it is supposed to be a mermaid YA series. I really like mermaids, and I especially like mermaids reading about them during the summer times, which is upcoming, so this is going to be a really fun one to like read maybe like on the beach or pool or something like that. And then I also found this one called Of Light and Shadow. From the synopsis, this one seems to be maybe like rivals to lovers dynamic, and it's supposed to be inspired by 17th century India and has a lot of politics and court intrigue as well, so all of those things seem really interesting to me. Plus, I really liked this cover as well. I think it's quite pretty. The next one I have here is a bit of a different book than some of the other ones, and it's called Imperium by Robert Harris. This is a historical thriller almost that is set the trial of the Senator Cicero. Studied history and really like Roman history in particular. The first volume of the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation series. My sister really likes this series, and it is the basis behind the TV show The Untamed, which I know is super popular and people really like. And a lot of people also really like this book series as well, so I'm interested to give it a try and see how I like it. But these are Don May novels, which are male romances. And so I think in this one we're following someone who is like an exorcist of some sort. I don't really know too much, I just know that people like it. So another one I picked up is Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. This is quite like a popular series that I think came out in like the mid, maybe early 2010s, and I never read it, but given that I was able to find it for cheap, I figured I could give it a try. I'm trying to see if there's like a date in it. 2014, so yes, early mid 2000. I also picked up one that I've already read before, and it's She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is a retelling of the founding of the Ming Dynasty, where we're following a main character who basically steals the destiny of her brother after her brother dies, and she basically lives her life disguised as a man. So there's a lot of really interesting exploration of queer identity within this book, which is really interesting because it's done within a historical framework, which I think think is quite rare to see. I have the second book in this series as well, which is called He Who Drowned the World, and I have not read that one, so picking up this one means that I can reread this one and then read the second. Another one I picked up was Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I read an Octavia E. Butler book earlier this year and I did enjoy it for the most part. I did have some criticism about it, but this series I am more interested in, particularly because it has a lot of parallels to our current political situation, especially what is happening in the US, which obviously there's a lot going on there, but I'm very interested to give this book a read and to look at this book and analyze the text in conjunction with what is currently going on in our present world. Another one is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This one I know is quite a popular series, but it's sort of polarizing. All I know is that there's some sort of like magic school aspect to this. Another one is called Princess of Thorns. This is another YA book, and I believe it is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. I quite like fairy tale retellings, and from some of the other books I've shown, you can probably tell that I like fantasy and fantasy romance. The last one that I have here is also another one that I don't really know much about, but it's called The Deed of Paksenarrion, and I believe it's actually a trilogy, and I've never heard of this series before or this author, but it seems to be an older fantasy series. So it's from 1992, and I find that it's really rare to find female fantasy authors writing in earlier time periods, so I'm always excited to find ones that seem interesting. So that's why I picked this one up, and hopefully I can get to it soon. Alright, so thank you for joining me for this small little book haul and unboxing. I hope that you enjoyed watching this, and feel free to let me know if you have received any of these books, like the 2 Fairyloot ones, or if you have read any of the books at all that I mentioned. There's some quite popular ones, so I'm sure there's some that at least someone has read, so feel free to let me know what you think about them, and also if you have any comments about like the designs of the book, whether or not you liked the Floating Worlds design better or the Knight and its Moth design better, feel free to let me know as well. Thank you once again, and goodbye.